Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com, and today we are going to be talking about finances and credit card debt. I got a financial question that I want to answer for you today. And this question comes from Jim, who is in the Facebook group. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's probably because I don't really talk about the Facebook group that much. It's the first rule of the Facebook group is you don't talk about the Facebook group, but I will talk about it this time. So you can join it. The only way to join it right now is to the Patreon page. It's $20 a month, and you get access to it, and you get access to a bunch of other people that are sort of pre-filtered because they're the people that are serious enough to pay $20 a month to commune with other Simple Programmer followers or followers of the Simple Programmer way. So you can check that out. Pretty cool. You know, we have some good conversations in there. I jump in there and I answer some questions, do some videos from time to time and stuff like that. But eventually I'll open this up to a more broad audience and give another way to get in there. But right now, just so many things going on. You can only choose so many things to do. But let's talk about this credit card debt. I know a lot of you have credit card debt and you have questions around it. I definitely have some opinions on this. So Jim says, quick financial question, which they're never quick, right? I'm paying down roughly $14K in credit cards. By currently staying on track and paying off minimums, I'll be out of debt by June 2021. Okay, minimums, that's not good, all right? If I double up on the minimums, I'll be out of debt by June 2020. There's something wrong with that calculation, but okay, using the snowball effect. I've considered working with a debt management company to lower interest rates and just pay one sum every month that takes care of all the minimums on my credit cards. What do you think would be more advantageous? I would be paying $370 a month, and it would take about 50 months for the payoff. The company is Consolidated Debt, okay, and has been around 20 plus years, helping over 5 million people. The major advantage I can see going with a company that is that I only have one payment to make every month and possibly lower interests. So there's a couple of things here. I don't know a lot about Consolidated Credit as a company. I think consolidating your debt does make sense if you check it out and you do it in the right way. But let me just give you some basic guidelines because you don't necessarily need them. And there's some things that you could do possibly that are going to be a lot more advantageous. So first of all, you do not want to make minimums on all of your credit card payments. That is ridiculous. You're going to be paying ridiculous interest rates for a long time. No good. Do not do this. This is just plain stupidity, in my opinion, to just make minimum payments. Don't do it. I'm not calling Jim, I'm not calling you stupid or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this is just ridiculous, like financially not very smart at all, okay? Second, even doubling up on the minimums is not a great strategy. What you want to do, right, if you want to effectively pay down debt as quickly as possible, there's two sort of strategies that you want to employ here that are going to speed up the rate at which you can pay down debt. One of them is and this is the most important for the overall reduction in the amount of money that you pay, which is to pay the highest interest rate things off first. Okay, if you take whatever money that you have and you pay off the highest interest rate things off first, then you're going to pay less overall money. It doesn't matter how you slice and dice this. This is just, it's like the laws of thermodynamics. It is absolutely true. So I'm always going to try to gear towards that. The second thing that influences how fast you pay things off is when you pay something off completely. So if you pay low amount things off, right, then you eliminate their essential minimum and you free up more cash to pay towards bigger things. So you have overall more cash that you can use to pay off the other things, right? So you're knocking out the small things so that your money's not getting spread out by these minimums that might be lower interest rate, and then you can use that money to pay off the higher interest rate things. So that's freeing up the cash. Does that concept make sense? Like, think about this for a little bit. I know this can get a little bit complicated, but I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. So in this case, for example, let's say that I have a credit card that has $5,000 on it, okay, and it has an interest rate of 17.5%. And I have another credit card that has $200 on it, and it has an interest rate of, like, I don't know, like 5% or something like that, right? It can make sense for me to just pay off that $200 on that low interest credit card so that I don't have to worry about it, so I don't have to make any minimum payments, and I can take the money that I was going to pay towards the low interest credit card and pay it towards the higher interest one with the bigger debt on that, and have all that money going towards that. That's sort of your own debt consolidation. Okay, so that's the second factor. That's the secondary factor because it's still not optimal, right? It's always optimal to pay as much money as possible towards the bigger credit cards. And you could look at this over time, and there's various ways to slice and dice this depending on the sizes. But this rule sort of says if you have something that you could pay off quickly, it might make sense to pay it off quickly so that you can free up money to pay off the higher interest things, right? It depends on how quickly you can do this. Okay, the third thing to consider here is so we'll just go by the things you can consider. So the third thing to consider here is, can you change it? Can you roll debt over? Can you refinance things? Can you reduce your interest rate? Okay, and this is probably the most effective thing that you could do. And then the fourth thing to consider here is whether or not you can increase the amount that you're putting towards your credit cards, right? Can you start eating ramen noodles for a little bit of time, right, to get yourself accelerated? Because the faster that it is, the faster that you're able to pay things off, the less that you pay overall, especially when you have high interest rates. So I'm going to give you a strategy here, Jim. I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do in your situation and exactly what I believe is absolutely the most optimal thing that you can do to get these paid off and to get out of debt as soon as possible. It's going to require a little bit of sacrifice, but this is the smart way to do this that is going to help you the most, okay? And I've helped a lot of people do this, so I know what I'm talking about here. Plus, I have done this myself, juggling around a lot of interest rates and loans and stuff as I've done real estate investment, not credit card debt, fortunately, but it applies the same. In fact, it's easier here because this is like T-ball compared to some of the complex things when you're figuring out with smaller interest rates. With big interest rates, it's easy. Okay, so here's the first thing that you want to do, Jim. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to free up as much money as possible to pay as much debt down as possible. Okay, that's the first thing that you want to do, because you want to be putting as much money as possible to, when you're in debt, you should consider yourself in prison, okay? And if you're in prison right now, you would want to get out, right? You wouldn't try and figure out how can I get in shape. You wouldn't want to figure out like how can I make the most of prison, right? If you had the ability to get out, you would want to devote all of your energy towards that. So what I'm saying is, like, if you're in a cage, let's not say prison, right? But let's say you're in a cage, you're not going to be like worrying about clipping your fingernails. You're going to worry about how the fuck do I get out of this cage, all right? And so that's what you need to consider yourself is in a cage. So you need to like tighten up that belt loop, right? And say, look, and suck it up, man. And I know this is going to be hard for a while, but you could get this real quickly if you listen to what I'm saying and make the sacrifice. I just interviewed a guy that's homeless educator. He lives off of $250 a month. No shitting you. And 190 of that is food stamps. And he lives off of that per month. So we can all live off of less than we expect, right? So here's what I would do, Jim. I would say I would turn off your cell phone, okay? Buy one of those pay-as-you-go, like prepaid cell phone plans. If you've got a monthly cell phone bill, most of them have like $80 or $90 cell phone bills. Fuck that. You don't need it. You don't need it right now, all right? You need to pay off the debt. That's number one. So go down to a cell phone bill that's going to knock that off. Get rid of all cable if you have any kind of cable, okay? Hell, if your internet service is expensive, can you go to the library, right? Can you not use internet at home? Can you go, to public Wi-Fi spots? I'm fucking serious here, guys. I'm not fucking kidding you, because this is what I would do. I'm only telling you what I would do, all right? I would do this stuff, all right? Can you do that? Okay, now go through your fucking closet, okay? Go through your office, your room, everything in your house. Sell everything you do not need, that you do not use, okay? I'm serious. You don't need those DVDs. You don't need those music CDs. You don't need those video games. Take everything that you can possibly sell and put it on eBay or put on Amazon. When I did this way back when, I think I sold like $10,000 worth of stuff over 2 years. I'm not even kidding you. This is crazy how much shit you accumulate. You may be able to pay for your entire credit card debt just by selling all the stuff that you don't need in your house, okay? I'm not going to suggest you move out to a cheaper apartment unless you're in an expensive apartment, but you might consider that as well. All right. If you've got a car and it's got a car payment, fuck that. You sell the car and trade it in and get something that you can pay for cash, if possible, or something that is very cheap for transportation, or just get rid of a car in general if you can possibly get away with public transportation for now. And I'm fucking dead serious, guys, here. This is what I would do. Next, food. You don't get to eat out. Zero times, no exceptions. 0 times you get to eat out. You're going to go and you're going to buy cheap groceries. You're going to buy eggs. You're going to buy rice. You're going to buy beans. You're going to buy ramen noodle soup. Okay, try to make it as healthy as possible. But hey, right now you're in a cage. We need to get you out of the cage. So that's what you do: is you cut your food down to cheap possible. There's a ton of cheap food that you can get out there. I know it, believe me, and that's what you're doing, and you're not eating out, okay? Anything else that is extraneous in your budget, you're cutting out and dropping this down so that you are minimizing your payments as possible. See how much money you can free up. If you can free up, if you're doing this, most of you, if you have a regular job, you can probably free up, most people can free up $500 a month, which is going to make a huge difference in knocking off that credit card debt way faster. Promise you. Some of you are going to be able to save $1,000 a month. Okay, if I did this right now, I could save $3,000 a month. I know it. I know I could, right? And I'm fairly frugal. Okay. So that's number one, is increase your power, increase the nozzle of the hose. And this is a long video, but that's fine because this is important stuff. So I'm saying increase the nozzle of the hose so you can spray more. That's number one. I'm giving you tips on how to do that, all right? Number two, after you've done that, the next step, or even while you're doing that, the next biggest thing that you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to try and reduce the interest rates as much as possible. Here's what you're going to do. First step is you're going to go and you're going to look for new credit cards that have 0 APR balance transfer offers. There's a ton of these. If you have decent credit, you can apply for them, and you can basically transfer your credit. So you owe, let's say you owed $14,000 on a credit card that had a 17% interest rate. You could balance transfer that to a new credit card, right? And pay 0 interest for like a year or 2 years, or very low, like couple percent interest, and you could pay that sucker down in 1 year, be out of debt in 1 year because you're not paying any interest on it. Plus, you're not paying minimum payments because you're going to balance transfer into your own debt consolidation. All right. This is critical. If you can do this, totally 100% do this, and this will make a huge impact on your ability to pay down this credit card debt, okay? And you can usually do this, right? You might not be able to, but if you can't, then the next step is this. You call up the credit card company and you say, hey, look, I need a lower credit card. There's a lot of competition out there. I need you to lower my interest rate. Can you give me a lower interest rate? Or rather, I would ask the question, what is the lowest interest rate that you can give me on this credit card, right? Or can you waive my interest for some period of time, or lower it promotionally, right? I know you have new credit cards, right? I don't want to do balance transfer, right? All this stuff, like pull out some bluffing there and see what they can do. I have called up credit card companies in the past, a long time ago, and I've negotiated with them, and they've lowered my interest rate by like 5 percentage points, right? Sometimes they have deals where they're new, like you got in when it was shitty, and now it's better, and they'll just lower it down to that point. Sometimes that might not work, but you should do that. Try and consolidate and try to lower interest rates as much as possible. You've got a bigger fire hose, right? We widen the fire hose by decreasing your expenses and giving you more money to put into the credit cards. And now what we're doing here is we are making the target, we're starving the fire of oxygen. We're making the target smaller. So you've got a bigger spray and you've got a smaller target, you're gonna blast that thing faster, okay? So that's the next thing that you're gonna do there. And then the third thing that you're gonna do is that you're going to take whatever you have left, okay, and you're going to order them in the order of the highest interest rate. Well, we'll back up. Third thing you're going to do is you're going to look for anything that you can pay off in 2 months or less. That's just the guideline I'm going to use. You could use different numbers, but based on your numbers, I think this will work for most people. If you have anything that if you poured every cent of your resources that you could pay off and completely eliminate in 2 months or less, let's do that so you have less minimum payments and you have a little bit more flexibility. There's a couple of reasons for this. It may not be the most optimal thing, like I said, because you want to pay the highest interest rate stuff first, but the reason for doing this is to give you some flexibility. So if you do lose your job or you fall in a hard time or whatever, something happens or an unexpected expense, you don't have all these minimums that are chaining you down, right? It's like filing bars out of the cage that you're in, okay? Next, number 4, this is where what we want to do is we want to sort the order of your credit cards or any interest that you're paying, and we want to take all the money as much as possible. So you want to take one credit card, okay, that has the highest interest rate, and you want to pay maximum on that. You're going to take your minimums on all the ones that you have left, and that's why we eliminate a lot of those. If we could pay it off in 2 months or so, you might even say if you could pay it off in 3 months. And we want to make the minimums on all but the highest interest rate credit card that's left. Okay, does that make sense? This way, you're taking your fire hose and you're spraying it towards the flame that's burning the brightest. Okay, you're not worried about these little flames right now, because once you put that sucker out, then you're gonna have an even bigger fire hose to shoot at the next and next and next and next, and that's gonna put out the fire as fast as possible and get you out of that cage. All right, so that is how you need to do this. This is pretty much the optimal solution for this problem. I've been over this many times with many people. I've spent countless hours with spreadsheets and thinking about this, and if you think about this, everything I've said here is just common fucking sense. You probably would have come to the same exact conclusions if you just sat down and you thought about this problem for 2 hours, but sometimes you're too close to the problem to think about it. So if you're in credit card debt, do what I said here. This is going to get you out as fast as possible, and really consider that you're in a cage. You need to take care of this. The other thing I'll say about this, the last thing I'll say about this is share this video, folks. Okay, share this. I don't know why I said folks, but share the video, dudes, chicks, babes. Share this video, babes. But no, seriously, share this video with someone who's in credit card debt, because this can really help, because this is, like, it's so ridiculous when people struggle with this problem. It's so simply solved. I mean, yes, it's going to require sacrifice, what I'm telling you to do here, but man, this is easy. This is child's play. If you followed my advice here, Jim, I think you could be out of credit card debt in a year or 2 max, probably 2 max. Why wait until 2020 or 2021 to get out of debt? That's ridiculous. Let's not do that. Let's do it now. Let's get it done. And man, how good are you going to feel, and how much extra money are you going to have, and how much money are you going to have to invest, right? Oh, there's one last thing. One last thing. This is crazy, okay? This is crazy. If you are contributing to your 401k, or you're putting money in a savings account, and you've got credit card debt, and you've got interest rates that are like 17%, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's absolutely insane. It is dumb. Do not do that. I don't know why financial advisors advise you to do that. Stupid, 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 stupid. You are, if you're paying 17% interest rate, okay, on something, and you have something that's giving you a 4% yield or investment return, okay? If you just think about it, the best investment that you could possibly make is 17%, because every dollar you pay towards something that's 17% interest rate is like making 17%, except you don't get taxed on that. Whereas everything that you invest in, let's say 401k or mutual fund or stock market or savings, and you get, let's say, 4% interest rate, are you even getting that? You get taxed on that on top of that, except for, I suppose, if it's in your 401k, but you don't get to see that until you're 65. Do not stop. And once you're out of credit card debt, yes, then save, then invest. I'm 100% for that. You got to plan for your future. But if you are in credit card debt, you should not be saving. You should have a little bit of a buffer, okay, just to make sure that you've got a little bit of breathing room in case something comes up, so you're not right there at, needing a payday loan. But aside from that, stop. So I know people that are in credit card debt. They have like $17,000, $20,000 in credit card debt, and they've got $20,000 in savings, and they're saying, I can't touch my savings. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you so stupid? Do not do that. That is dumb. It's totally dumb. That I will call people that are doing that dumb, because it's dumb. All right. Share the video. If you like this video, click the subscribe button below, and make sure to click the bell so you don't miss any videos when they come out, so I can just call you dumb. I'll tell you how dumb you are. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.